Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis on February 12th, 2022, but I'm actually going to release this video next Saturday. What I want to talk about today is not so much about flowers or growing as it is actually about shipping orchids. You know, I don't know that I've ever seen a video on shipping orchids, and I'm getting close to chopping up a bunch of plants and then selling them. And I don't know that a lot of other folks really know how to do it. It's not a particularly complicated process, but there's a few things that you really want to do, and a few things that you don't want to do. So what I'm going to do is sort of place the camera on above the table and then show you how I wrap the plants, how I put them in the boxes, what materials I use, and then how really to go to the post office and send the plant. That's how I do it. I always go through USPS. So Paula, who lives in West Virginia, sent me a Catasetum division about a year ago, or no, probably less than that, maybe in about October. And then she sent me some fertilizer, actually, which is a formula that Rick L used when unfortunately he passed away, but he was a YouTuber with a lot of folks that really enjoy his videos and take to heart a lot of what he's talked about and his fertilizing regime. In fact, I was very appreciative that Paul sent that, and I've used that particular fertilizer for my indoor plants, the plants that I have in the grow tent here and over here at this little window sill that you can't see. So what I want to do today is actually send a couple of Cattleyas to Paula, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a smaller one. The small one is a seedling that I got from a friend of mine. Is Cattleya General Pau, which is Ludemaniana bilabiata, and both parents, as you can see, are Cerulean, really nice, both awarded. I don't know that the progeny, I don't know that this plant will turn out Cerulean because the genes for Cerulean on Cattleya are a little wonky, and there's a couple different mutations. And if the correct mutations don't line up in the two parents, then the offspring will be tipo, so pink. But really good shape on these and of Cerulean heritage. So if two sibs are crossed together, they might come out with Cerulean. Anyway, and the other one is a RLC Tip-Malee, I think, and here's a photo. Big floofy flowers, big yellow. I got this from a friend not too long ago, and I want to pass it along. And I'm gonna move soon, so I need to downsize. And this is a pretty big plant, and I really want to get rid of some of my larger plants for. I'm going to be in an apartment soon and then moving into a real house maybe sometime this summer. So like I said, I want to downsize, and I think Paula would really enjoy this. So anyway, enough talking. Let's look at the boxing. So we have some basic materials here. Obviously we have plants, some tape, some newspaper, or you can use bubble wrap. I have both. So what I'll do is I'll do newspaper on the small plants, which is right here, and then I'll use bubble wrap on the larger plant, Almaquis Tip-Malee. That's this one right here. And so as you can see, I've prepared these a little bit. I've taken the media off the roots, as well as gone through and took some rubbing alcohol, and if there's any bugs or anything, you just want to clean that up and get that off. For this one, I left the root system as it is because these are all still good roots. For this one, I ended up trimming off quite a bit, so we're down to sort of the heart of the roots here, and I've left a lot of the media on. I don't feel that you need to pull all of this off. In fact, it's probably better that you don't, because this is all orchiata bark. So it's going to last a while. It's still good, and popping these off will rip these roots. So I don't want to do that right now. So For this one, like I said, I'm going to take the newspaper and I can take one double page and start it here. And what I'll do is, you want it to be fairly tight. I want to have this all, the leaves all pulled up like this. And I'll do kind of one full wrap and then fold in one side and then fold in the other side. So I want to feel for the tip of the leaf, which is right here. And I'll fold it in so that I'm not bending the leaf. And then I'll just wrap it in fairly tightly like this. Take some of my tape here and hold it. So, you know, I did that, but of course I forgot that the tag is still out here. So rather than untaping it, I can just slip it into here like this. You could also just tape it to the side. In fact, that's probably a better way to do it so that it doesn't accidentally get overlooked. So I'll just take a little bit of tape and put it on the side here, and that way Paula can, when she unwraps it, she can easily see that this is the tag right here. Another thing is some folks will make new tags when they send out orchids. I find that's not super useful because so many people like to redo the tags in whatever style they use that there's a good chance it'll get thrown away. So I really just use whatever I have here, or even just make, this is from a label maker, and so I'll even just send the label without a tag in case somebody wants to put that on their own tag. So, you know, there's different ways you can do that, but basically that's good to go. Now for this larger plant, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can wrap it, and before you wrap it, if there's some really delicate parts, maybe use some shredded paper and kind of wrap the leaves together so that as they're in transport, you know, the leaves aren't necessarily rubbing against each other. These are pretty tough leaves, so I'm not really worried about that. So what I want to make sure is that when I'm wrapping, this is all tightly bound together, and so that as it's being shipped, it's not loose and kind of flopping around. So let's use the bubble wrap for this guy. All right, so this one is ready to go. Again, nice tight wrapping. I'm going to add actually another piece of tape just to secure it. And voila, we now have two plants ready to go. So we're about halfway done. So next is I will show you the box that I use, and then I will show you what I do inside the box to make sure that these guys aren't jiggling around. So next is actually the boxing, which is pretty important. You really want that box to be as small as possible for a couple of reasons. First is that the plants won't jiggle around as much, and having a small box with a bunch of these packages that you typically get in the mail whenever you order something from Amazon or wherever will help prevent the plants from moving around in the box. In fact, what you want to do ideally is close the box before you take it to the post office, and then shake it. And if anything moves, then you need to add more of these. So I've got 2 boxes here. I tend to save my boxes from Amazon for this very purpose. So I've grabbed the smaller of the 2 boxes here, and I'm going to see if these plants fit, specifically the largest plant. So, you know, there is some overhang here, and to be honest, if the boxes actually get too big, they become really expensive to ship. So that's another reason that you want to keep the boxes small. And if I were to bend these leaves and put them in, the plant would be fine, and shipping that way, they're not going to snap or anything. So that could be one way to go. Let me try on the larger box. So the larger box is a similar situation where even if the larger plant is diagonal, it's going to, I'm going to have to bend these leaves. Otherwise, the larger size box is going to cost like $50 to ship. And I don't want to do that for obvious reasons. So since I have to use the smaller, but I should mention, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, this box is deeper. So I can actually push the butt end of this down a little farther. And so that's why it kind of takes up the same amount of room in here. And so now what I want to do is I want to take some of these plastic bags. Again, this is an Amazon box. These are plastic bags from Amazon. And so I reuse a lot of materials because it just seems to make more sense. And you really want to prevent any movement inside the box. So we've got these. And we've got these, and what I'm actually going to do, you can see there's still a little space here, so I'm going to find some more of these airbags and put at least 1 or 2 more there so that this stays right in place. So if I were to pick this box up and shake it, these plants would still be moving, so I need to fix that. Okay, I'm back with a couple more of these airbags, and I'm putting them in there. And you can see that this is pretty tight. This is not going to go anywhere. So then I would close this and I would shake it to make sure that nothing moves, and I can feel that nothing is moving in here. Another thing actually you want to do is you want to take a black marker and go over your address as well as any barcodes or these different codes that can be on these boxes, and that way the post office doesn't get any weird mix-up because of this. So, however, because it's winter time, what I need to do is I'm going to leave this open, and when I get to the post office, I'm going to open this and mix it up, and then that'll start the warming process, and then it'll allow for 40 plus hours of a little bit of extra warmth. So that's really obviously only something you need to do during the wintertime. The other thing that I did was I coordinated with Paula, and I asked her what her weather was going to be and if she was comfortable. And actually I had her pick the time where she would be comfortable with me shipping. So I'm going to send this out on Monday because the weather looks decent where she's at, and she thinks that sending this box on Monday and it getting there later in the week will not freeze any of the plants. So you want to be thinking about whether, if possible, you want to ask the person or the destination when they want their box shipped, when they're going to be home, when they feel comfortable, because ultimately, you know, frozen orchids or heat-stressed orchids are not the desired outcome, right? So I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to leave this in here, and then when you're at the, and what I'm going to talk about now is really for the American folks, but I suspect there'll be similar equivalents in other countries. So here in the US, we want to use priority mail. This is the sticker that you'll want to use. You know, I'll put my name and address here, and then I'll put Paula's name and address down here. And I actually like to have the post office person put this on. So once I fill this out, I'll just leave it in the box as well. And then when I get to the counter to pay, I'll let them put this on. wherever, it seems like each person, individual person wants to put it on in their preferred spot. I don't really know where that is, so I just let them do it, and it's pretty easy to do. Finally, when you're paying, they will ask you if you have anything liquid, perishable, fragile, or explosive or something. I'm not really sure what the last one is, but I always say yes. I have a live plant in here, and a lot of the time they'll put a live plant sticker on there. I don't know if it actually helps, but it's something to think about. So that's how I do it, and let me know if you do it differently, but I think those are the basics. I'm sure there's lots of different ways to do it. This box will probably cost me about $12 to send, and it should get there in about 3 days. So that's it. Bye.